So, welcome back to another episode of Build Your Own Puppet. This is episode 8 here over on YouTube. Of course, we have, I think, nearly 100 episodes of this show over on TikTok that will all be linked in the description in case you want to watch the entire playlist. But for today, we're going to be making your order number 2021. Thank you so much for trusting us to bring your puppet to life. And I know that it's been your birthday recently, so it's very exciting that we get to make this video and show it to you. I hope you've had a wonderful birthday. Now, for your selections, you've chosen to roll for it for the head shapes. We have a little bit of chaos thrown in there. You would like two colours, purple and brown. You would like cab eyes for your eye selection, and then for your features, we have ears, nose, tattoo, and prop. Now for the personality and vibe, you have also chosen for us to roll for it. So I love this mix of like the chaotic elements that you are happy to leave up to chance, and then the parts of your puppet that you definitely have a very clear vision for. So in your comments, you said you would like them to be a kind-hearted linguist who's come to Dartmoor to observe and document the languages and cultural communication differences of the various creatures of the lore. You said that you trust our vision for their design, but you think that you would like them to have a recording device or a notebook or something like that as the prop, and then as the tattoo, something from the International Phonetic Alphabet would be amazing. So we have an incredibly specific brief there, but now for rolling for our head shape, we have a 12, which is going to be for the Wilson head shape. And then for our personality roll with our chaos dice, today's Wilson kind-hearted linguist from Dartmoor is going to be a cuteness overload. I think that is perfect. And I am so excited to build your puppet, so let's get started. You also said that you were very excited to get this chance to have your own puppet after years of watching on TikTok, so thank you so much for your support, thank you for watching, thank you for enjoying our content. And I really, really hope this puppet lives up to your expectations, especially when a brief is so specific, and I know that the customer has like a vision already in mind of what this character is going to be like. I think the pressure is just really on. So let's get started making your Wilson, first of all, by cutting out all of the reticulated foam on the bandsaw. All hail the bandsaw. Long may it serve us. Actually, no, we serve it. Long may it allow us to be in its presence. Thank you, bandsaw. Then we're going to glue it all together with our contact adhesive, of course, for our delicious yet forbidden honey sandwich. And for some reason we were just going absolutely ham here. Oh, like a ham and honey sandwich? That would be terrible. No, forget that. Not a ham and honey sandwich. I just meant we were going pretty hard there with the amount of foam that we were gluing all at once. So it looked quite intense. But anyway, once all of that glue is dry, we're going to press it all together to form the shape. The Wilson head shape, of course, is one of our newest head shapes. It's one of the new 5 head shapes that we launched here with Season 4 on YouTube. And I think we've rolled it at least 3 times so far out of Season 4, so it's definitely been a popular one. The dice have been loving the Wilson head shape. So once all of that's glued together, we're going to make our forbidden ice cream sandwiches. We're going to glue the mouth plate into the puppet's head with the black fleece. Glue everything together, and we're going to be ready for our finished foam reveal. The Wilson is just such a smiley, friendly looking head shape, so it definitely works well with a kind-hearted linguist cuteness overload. And I have to say, I love how much you've included the lore of Dartmoor in your brief, and the fact that you've even thought about that story when it comes to designing your puppet just means so much to me. Of course, I love Dartmoor, I love the creatures of Dartmoor, the mythical characters that we created all those years ago, so thank you so much for considering that when you want your puppet to be brought to life. It's really, really special. So we have this lovely, rich, deep purple fleece that we're going to have as kind of the skin of the puppet, and then we're going to bring the brown in with a nice warm fur later on with the features, the hair, that sort of thing. The purple and brown colour scheme together are really fun. I love the contrast, and I just think this purple reminds me of almost like Quality Street chocolates, like at Christmas. That is a very British reference, I fear. But anyway, it is just a nice, bright, rich, regal colour. I think it looks really nice here on this puppet, and I'm just trimming and pinning all of that fabric so I can hand sew the seams on the head. Most everything else is going to be machine sewn, so the hands and the arms and the body, but I'm just going to get started on those nice seams on the puppet's head. Of course, this is the F3 puppet fleece that we have dyed this purple colour, and it hides the seams really, really well. It stretches beautifully. It's definitely my favourite fleece to use on the puppets for this show. And then we're just going to cut out the rest of the fleece, so the hands and the arms, and then, like I said, machine sew them all up. But of course we have to hand sew the seams for the arm rod pockets into the puppet's hand once we get to that stage in a minute. Then of course, once all of that fleece is sewn together, we're going to add it onto the foam and start assembling the puppet. Then we're going to move on to adding our brown. So like I said, we have this nice warm brown faux fur. And we kind of wanted to go with more of a human-like character since they are a linguist, they are obviously a traveller. They've come to observe all of the different habits and cultures of the creatures of Dartmoor. So we did want it to be more of a human-type character, not a human necessarily, more of like a human in the way that a Futurama creature is a human. You know, like they have a job? Like a job and clothing. So anyway, we gave them this little wig, which was super adorable, doll jointed the arms onto the puppet's body. We have a little happy dance, and then we're going to move on to our eyes. So you chose cabochon eyes, and I definitely wanted a nice warm brown toned iris. I'm using the iris hike, which I absolutely cannot keep in stock on our website. I have to cast these the most out of any colour on our website. I think that's really interesting. It's just such a nice, beautiful, warm brown, and we definitely sell them the most. I just thought that was interesting. Fun little fact. Furry fingers fun facts. Then, of course, we have a brown fleecy puppet tongue, which we glued in place because every puppet needs a tongue. And then we're going to move on to the features. So we have ears and nose. I was crashing out a little bit here because the nose would not balance on the puppet's head every time I tried to pin it in place. I was just having a little bit of a moment, but everything is fine now. So we have these little round fleecy puppet ears that we've sewn up with a little sewn ridge of definition, just as a little earlobe, which I think looks really cute. And I'm just going to pin those in place and hand sew them onto the puppet's head. For the nose, we've gone with a 3D printed, sort of like bean shaped nose, which again I thought was really cute and went with the character quite nicely. Of course, we're going to cover that in purple fleece. We've gone with a slightly darker tone of purple fleece, just so that there's a nice definition between the face and the nose. And we're of course going to hand sew that in place as well, which can be really tricky trying to move the needle around the eyeballs, but we got it done. And then moving on to a little costume. So I definitely felt like this puppet needed clothing, and a little adventurer's waistcoat just seemed perfect. So we got a chance to reuse this fake suede fabric that we found and just absolutely fell in love with. So we used our little puppet sized waistcoat template, and it had this really fun fringe detail on the bottom that we knew we wanted to incorporate. So we kind of aligned the template just so that we could still have a little bit of that fringe on the bottom. Sewed it all together. And then for the prop, as you wanted something for the character to record all of their findings down in, we have this leather style bound notebook with like a really fun adventurer print on the front with the compass. I just think it is the perfect prop for this character. We have the little waistcoat, and now for the tattoo. This kind of drove us a little bit insane, so we had about 10 different versions of the tattoo that failed. We ended up going with a 3D printed tattoo, which we've never tried before. We normally go with fabrics or with painting, but we went with 3D printing, glued it in place, held it in place overnight, so this is actually filmed the next day now. And it is of course Echo, so that is from the phonetic alphabet, and I just thought it was nice that it was a name on the puppet skin rather than just a random word. And finally the tattoo took, and it all worked out. I added a little bit of shading to the ears, the nose, the tongue. And we are ready for our finished puppet reveal. So this one was so much fun. It was definitely a very, very specific brief, and I hope we lived up to your imagination. Thank you so much again for trusting us to bring your puppet to life. I hope you had a wonderful birthday. They absolutely cannot wait to meet you. Thank you for watching. As always, please leave your name suggestions and an even more detailed backstory down in the comments. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to hit subscribe if you would like to see some more. We have tutorials, roll for puppet and build your own puppet coming very, very soon. And if you would like even more content and to support us to help keep making these videos, then you of course can head over to our Patreon, where you get extra content, behind the scenes, you get early and ad-free episodes, you get voting power, discount codes, just so much over there. So again, I hope you enjoyed this video. Head over to our Patreon if you would like to support us, and we will see you very, very soon. Everyone wish this brave and kind-hearted linguist a very happy journey travelling to Dartmoor. I hope they discover lots of fun things and get back to us with their findings. Thank you everyone for watching this video. I think I already said that 50 times, but it's still important. So thank you, and we'll see you very soon.